So I called one of my mentors. His name is Antonio. He's another screen printer out of Huntington Beach, and I explained to him, hey, I have this feeling I'm coming in too late to work, and he asked me, George, what time did you used to wake up when you used to go to your regular job? And I said, well, I would wake up 5:30, 6 a.m., get ready, and go to work. And he goes, so tell me, why do you used to wake up early to build somebody else's dream and now wake up early to build your own?
Zanika Hutchinson, and I am back. Today I will be talking with George. Hi, George.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. Thank you. I'm doing great. I wake up full of energy today, so I'm ready for this.
You're ready for this.
Yes.
All right, yes.
Let's do this.
Let's do this. We're going to be talking to George about his business, his company, Black Widow Print Studio. That's your company. So, let's get into before the studio.
Well, before I was into the t-shirt printing, I was working for one of the largest dental lab in the world back in California, and I was there for 16 years. But for some reason, I was always making shirts since I was maybe 15, 16.
Yeah.
And then, things happen for a reason. I started focusing on my business, and then it just took off from there. And it's been great.
It's been great.
Yeah,
Awesome.
it's been great.
And so the pandemic came around, COVID hit everyone, and we were at home.
Right.
Now we're back outside. Now Delta is here. We don't know what's gonna happen.
We don't know what's gonna happen. I think definitely the pandemic, I'm sure it affected millions of people in the US, and we lost people as well, but we need to actually also be thankful
Exactly.
that the pandemic was here, because it forced people to come out of their shell and also do other things for themselves, as
Exactly.
starting a business or focusing on a business, or so there's always a good and bad things, and the pandemic, has hit us hard, and we just adapt to what to make things happen for us and for our families, and we're grateful too at the same time.
Yeah,
as well.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the pandemic came around, and how was it for you? Like, how was the increase in sales for you?
So there was a time where I was working for this company. This is in March of last year, and they furloughed me. They said, hey, George, you gotta go home. We don't have any work for you.
Yeah.
You're still an employee of the company. And then, of course, there was a time where I panicked and I said, well, what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
And I said, well, I have my side gig. I always have be making little money here and there with my side gig. Why don't I focus 100% on it? So the first thing is I believe in myself and make sure that, I was going to do this. So I started, focusing 100% on the business. And then all of a sudden I started noticing that there was a growth on sales, the sales part. And I was talking to a customer of mine. I hope you don't mind me going into detail on this.
Yeah.
I was talking to my customer, who was one of my largest customer at that time.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh my God, I feel bad releasing shirts. I'm in the printing business. I work with many brands.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, oh my God, I feel bad. People are losing their job.
Yes.
People are they don't have any money.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, look, we'll do a release. We'll release some garments, some streetwear, and then we'll check it out. Actually, he said we touched bases after a couple weeks after the release, or a couple days. It was his largest release he ever done,
Yeah.
and his return on investment was huge. It was a large amount of money that he never thought it could happen, because people were losing their job. Actually, where people were shopping more, people were at home always trying to see what they can shop for.
Get yep.
Yeah. So
exactly.
I think for our business was the same. Our people were trying to print more and do more and express their feelings sometimes and all that.
Yeah.
And
I know because George did these shirts.
Yes, we did your shirts. Yeah.
Okay, so I remember when I came to you and I was talking to you about, like, I got some T-shirts back then, and they washed out real quick, and
Right.
you were telling us the difference between the different print
I
styles.
think when if we go into some of the details here, I think choosing the right garment is the first thing for anybody who's looking to get shirts done. Make sure they feel good and they're a nice soft cotton. And then the style of printing, of course, we offer screen printing, so it's gonna be it's gonna be the best quality printing
Quality.
out there.
Yeah.
It is. It's been around since the 1700s, and to this day, it's still pretty much the number one choice for larger runs of shirts and
Yeah.
stuff. So it's very important when you want to do shirts to choose the right quality, the right garment, the right printer,
Yeah.
which is Black Widow Printing.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So walk us through, like, what would you say is like your biggest takeaway from just starting your business and being a boss and having that flexibility?
So one of the things that, BYOB, be your own boss, right? It's you have to stay focused. You're really gonna want it.
Mhm.
I remember when I had it as a hobby, I was doing 18 hours a day, and nobody cared, nobody noticed,
Mhm.
except for my wife and my family are the ones who noticed. Who I would do my full-time job, 8 hours a day, 9 hours there, because you take your hour lunch and you work 8 hours or whatever, and then I would come home, eat real quick, get to my hobby or my shop around 7, and I wouldn't come home until 1 a.m. So literally, I will be gone almost 24 hours. I would wake up at 5:30 in the morning or
Yeah.
6 a.m., have breakfast, 7:30 on my regular job, come home 5 p.m. to eat something real quick, get to my shop at 6, and we'll make until the next day at 1 a.m. So what I'm saying here is that you really got to work hard. You got to work hard. Some people say you got to work smart, but you also got to work hard.
Yeah.
You have to believe behind your product and all that. Yeah. I think as a small business owner, yeah, it's tough in the beginning.
Mhm.
Some people don't know this. I closed my business about 2 to 3 times, and life kept bringing me back
To
into
it.
where,
Yeah.
saying, hey, this is what you should be doing.
Exactly.
And I was in denial for a while. I was like, man, I should be printing shirts. That doesn't make sense. I have a good job here in this
Yeah.
company that gives me all these benefits and
Mhm.
all that. And I realized, I'm like, man, this just keeps coming back into my life. And it's tough, it's hard, but I think if you have it in you, you would know. I mean, you definitely have it. You would have that feeling,
That passion for it.
that passion for it. Yeah.
And as you mentioned, doing that long hours, sometimes I explain on my social media accounts many times that you could look at someone and you could see them blowing up right now, and you probably thinking, oh, they just got on here and you're like getting all the sales, but you never see that work before.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing as you were saying,
Yeah.
you've been putting in that time way before, and
Yeah.
now you're having the opportunity to become your own boss, to
Right.
leave that 9 to 5 job and having this company as your own.
Right.
So many times we don't even see what's happening behind the closed doors.
Behind the clothes.
Exactly, but you're still putting in the work.
Yeah, everybody's gonna see the wins. Everybody's gonna
Yeah.
say, "Oh my God, you're killing the game." But
Mhm.
nobody sees your losses, or sometimes we don't
Exactly.
show our losses. But in my business, I take in my losses and I just reflect on them
Mhm.
and check out the outcome, what I need to do to make things better.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm experiencing something really cool, which is other screen printers and other people reaching out to me as well to know how, oh my God, you're doing great. What can I do? Or
Yeah.
things like that. And it's great. And we love to share information with other people because we can see everybody grow. It's good karma for you.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, it's very important to stay focused and manifest. I'm a big manifest. I believe in manifestation a lot.
Yes.
I experienced a couple of things in my journey recently where I manifest something that I want, and I ask God for it. I say,
Yeah.
hey, God, can you give me this? And
Yeah.
He gives it to me. I mean,
exactly.
if I tell you in details, it would be, some people probably that are listening won't even believe it, but
I know exactly.
they wouldn't even believe that it
Yeah.
happened to me, but
Yeah.
it has happened to me many times. And I'm a big
Believer.
manifest.
Yeah.
Manifest is big on
I
our business.
completely get you. I
Yeah.
completely get you. Sometimes I get the part when you say, you talk to God about it and, you see it happening, because yes, I have to say one of the biggest things with the podcast and with just being a part of and doing this business, that I pray about every single decision that I make. I pray on it. And so if it's not a decision that I feel like it's worth doing, I'd be like, hey, God, hey, I'm
Yeah,
just back
guide me
and
through
forth
it.
having
Yeah.
that dialogue with him. Like, do I need to
Yeah.
do this? And he'll show up, like maybe by just like an email that pops up, or just
Right.
one word, or someone just says, hey, and I'm like, okay, there's my answer.
There's your
and then
answer, yeah.
I go for it. So, definitely I've seen where manifestation has come forward,
Right.
and, trusting like God, and just, leaving everything to him, definitely. So, how could you say that your upbringing kind of helped you to pivot to this point in life?
Well, do you mean by like
How you were
how I was
raised?
raised?
Yeah.
Well, I think I was raised in a Catholic family.
Mhm.
My parents, my dad and my grandpa were doctors, gynecologists back home where I come from.
Yeah.
And I never thought I could be doing business. There was no businessman in our
In
family,
your
right?
family, yeah.
And every time I mentioned to someone that my parents were, my dad was a doctor,
Mhm.
everybody always says, "Hey, well, what happened to you?" And I think that's something that has always been like in the back of my mind. Can I be greater than my dad?
Yeah.
And I think it's I'm always trying to be a better person.
Exactly.
I might not be the doctor, but I'm trying to be that businessman that I want to be.
Yeah.
I'm not even close where I want to be. I would
Mhm.
love to impress my dad.
So the giveaways that you do on your website, so share with us how we can be a part of that giveaways.
So we always wanted to find a way how to give back something to the community, and we do the giveaways not to gain followers, but to also just spread the word of our business. We're giving a high quality T-shirt with a high
Yes.
quality print, and we give it out for free.
Yes.
We cover everything, right? And I think our giveaways are very important because we want people to engage with us. I mean, we live in an age where social media is very important for our business,
Exactly.
and we want to make sure that we are engaging with everybody and
Yes.
trying to make sure everybody knows about us. But it's not about the followers. To me, I appreciate everybody who follow us,
Yeah.
but the most important thing is we have about, I don't know, 7,500 followers or something like that in our page right now.
Yes.
But not everybody buys from me. I prefer to have 10 followers
Who buys?
who buys from me every month
Exactly.
than having 20,000 followers and they're just watching, right? There's not really. So it's very important to know the difference
Yeah.
between
Yep.
somebody who's just following for whatever to
Mhm.
actually say, hey, this company is doing great work.
Yeah.
Let me engage in business with them.
Yes. That's
And
true.
yeah.
Nice. And I like that you brought that up, because many times you hear, oh, I have 1.2K, or I have this amount of followers, and you think because they have so many followers, they're getting the sale, they're getting
Yeah.
the people to come. But half the time they only get 3 likes or no engagement, and we need the engagements. That's
that
what we
engagement.
need. And many times you look at someone else's page and you're like, oh, they only have 500 people, but they're getting the sales, and you're wondering, hey, how are they making so much money? How are they gaining? Because they have those people who are committed to them. Those people who are like, hey, I like the service that you're offering, I like the products that you're selling, and I'm gonna purchase from you.
I think nowadays, if you want to be a successful business, you have to engage with your audience. You
Mhm.
have to. They have to find a. They have to feel that there is a relationship with that
Exactly.
business. I mean, it's not just, you know, it's not just putting a product out there. I experienced that myself as a business owner, where we put out a product out there, or we put out a shirt with with no meaning,
Exactly.
and people don't buy it,
Yeah.
right? You want to make sure that you're able to find that people have to relate
Yeah.
to that
Mhm.
garment. They gotta mean something.
They-
BYOB, be your own
Yeah.
boss, and people want to find freedom, or
Exactly.
and that's what makes a brand successful.
So Black Widow Studios, how did the name come up?
Oh my God! There has been a lot of people asking me that through the time we've been doing business. Where did Black Widow actually? The business, when we registered the business back in California, the business was actually Black Widow Designs, and we registered the business in 2008 with this. We were in Orange County,
Yeah.
and then when we moved to Vegas, we decided to become an LLC and register the business as an actual Black Widow print studio. And the name Black Widow came when I was a young kid. It has nothing to do with any kind of comics or anything like that. It was a product I always wanted to buy, and the product actually was called Black Widow. And for some reason, the name stuck to me. There's nothing crazy about it. There's no crazy story. I don't like spiders. I don't collect spiders or anything like that. But I think, I don't know, I has always thought of a name, and Black Widow stuck with it. And I think it was a cool name.
Yeah,
Yeah, a really cool name.
it is.
If I become really successful, I'll change the whole story and say I got bitten by a Black Widow, and people will fall for it. But,
exactly.
yeah, Black Widow has, I don't know, I always liked it. I think we live in a new era where people are being more think they're being more thoughtful about their names that they come up with.
Yeah,
Except, back in the days, people would be like J and W, or it doesn't make sense. People want to hear that name, and they want to,
yeah,
branding yourself is important. Yeah.
yeah.
You gotta, I think people nowadays, they sometimes what's the word? They get stuck trying to come up, trying to build a business, and they're always like, oh my God, what am I gonna name it? Instead of actually taking action. One thing I heard recently this week or last week, or can't remember, it's knowledge is power. We all know that. Everybody knows knowing a lot is power. But if you take no action, there's nothing's gonna happen, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people are very smart people. They have all the information there, but with no action plan or no action, nothing's gonna happen. So if you're starting a business, you gotta take action, regardless of what name. You can come up with the name 6 months later,
Exactly.
and still be a good business. We have no business.
Exactly, because you
Yeah.
can always change the name.
You can always change the name.
Always change
You
the
can
name
always
of the business.
operate as no business name, right?
Yeah,
And be successful, because people
Exactly.
believe in your product.
they
Yeah.
do. They do.
Yeah.
What would be one thing that you deemed as most important for you in the customer service world?
I'm gonna share this with you guys. I don't think I share this with a lot of people, but I'm not in the business of selling T-shirts or screen printing. I'm actually on the business of selling relationships. So it's very important, this what I'm about to say. I don't try to sell a T-shirt to my customers or screen printing. I talk to them and I build a friendship relationship with them. I think it's more worth it than me just trying to sell you a T-shirt.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think it's something that if I was to advise anybody who owns a business is get to know your customer, build a relationship with them, and they'll always be loyal.
Yes.
Loyalty is very important, but it doesn't happen all the time. I had many customers who have always come to me, and then one day they decide to go with another printer. And I learned that the hard way, because I would be like, oh my God, am I doing something wrong? What's going on? And now I don't see it that way. I see customers who go to another printer and they come back to me and say, George, I should have never left you.
Yeah.
I believe that you do the greatest customer service out there. So yeah, one thing is I don't sell T-shirts, I sell relationships.
Yes.
That's what I tell people.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's very important
It's very important.
to
I know.
customer service and stay on top of it. I mean, in our small company, it's just my wife and I, and we try to stay on top of things and be as helpful as possible and responsive as possible.
Nice.
That's another thing. I am available 24 hours. What does that mean? That we have customers all over the country. Believe it or not, being so small, we still have people in New York, North Carolina, Chicago, and all those areas where if it's 5 a.m. here, it's already 8 o'clock for them. So I might wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning to answer things on the phone. Maybe 6 months ago, I was in a Facebook group, and people were saying that they were in the same business as mine. They were saying that they turn off their phone because people will be texting them. And I said, well, if you don't text back, you're going to lose their business. In this era, we want responsive, being responsive. People, quick response. You got to be fast on that phone.
Yeah.
Especially nowadays, you take your phone everywhere with you.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think it's
And
very,
especially
very
when
important.
people are so impatient these days.
Yeah.
If you don't get back to them right away, they're like, okay, the next person, because they have 3 lists.
Yeah.
They already looked up maybe 3 persons, and you're like,
Yeah.
figure out who can help me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a thing where you gotta close the sale quick. If not, they're gonna go find somebody else. If you can't respond
Exactly.
right away, they're gonna go find someone else.
Exactly.
Very important.
So what is your why?
What is my why? Why am I doing this?
Yes.
Well, I think the number one thing I'm doing this, it's freedom. I felt not a lot of people has this mentality, but I remember, I'm gonna go back to my old job, was that when I told people I was quitting, I was leaving, they were wondering, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
How is your business gonna provide? And And I said, well, it doesn't matter. I want to be free. I think freedom, and not a lot of people understand that.
Yes.
And I'm sure a lot of people that are going to be listening are going to be like, what is this guy talking about? But if I was to look at the George 5 years from today, or past, 5 years from today,
Yeah.
I would be like, man, this guy is so dedicated to this company, to this, to his job. And now my mentality has changed, and I try to preach that to other people, and some people don't understand that the reason why you want to be your own boss is because you want to have the flexibility and freedom. And I want to touch something, if I can.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think being your own boss doesn't mean that you're gonna just work 4 hours a day.
Exactly.
I think it's very important to say this, because this happened to me, and I'm gonna share something not so personal, but I did say I used to work 16 hours a day, but when I went full time on my job, I would be like, man, I'm flexible. I'm my own boss now. I'm gonna come in anytime I want.
Yeah.
And I was coming in. I was coming in at 10 a.m. on my job,
Yeah.
and I would be leaving at 4 sometimes. And then, and I felt something was wrong. I said, well, wait a minute. So I called one of my mentors. His name is Antonio. He's another screen printer out of Huntington Beach. And I explained to him, hey, I have this feeling I'm coming in too late to work, and he asked me, George, what time did you used to wake up when you used to go to your regular job? And I said, well, I would wake up 5:30, 6 a.m., get ready, and go to work. And he goes, so tell me, why do you used to wake up early to build somebody else's dream and now wake up early to build your own? That really, that's stuck with me forever. And I think I'm doing this just to be freedom. My wife used to have a full-time job. Now she works for us, and we're more together as a family. I think it's very important. I dream of having one of the largest print shop probably in Vegas. I don't know, or in this side of the country. I'm not sure. I envision having a big building with people working, and having the same idea of growing the business and all that. Will that happen? I'm not sure, but it's on my vision board. That's for sure. We do have a vision. I recommend that too. Vision boards, very important. But yeah, it's on my vision board to be able to grow the business and hire people and
Yes.
be someone
Yes.
in life and change people's life. I think that's very important, because it's not just about you making money, but but also helping others as well to once you make it up there, reach back and pull somebody up too as well.
Yes, yes. I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. That is a good thing, because you
Mhm.
build someone else's business. We wake up at 4 o'clock some mornings. We
Yeah.
wake up at just to beat the traffic too.
Just to beat the traffic. Yeah.
Just to beat the traffic. Just
Well, you
to-
live in Vegas. There's no traffic here.
Oh,
Unless you're going to,
yes.
I think if you're going to Henderson, I guess there's
Oh,
traffic.
there's
Yeah.
traffic.
Yeah, there's traffic.
But I'm just saying, we wake up so early just to get there on time, and the management sometimes the environment that we walk into is not the best, and we go there every single day. We put in our best work, but for your own business, you want to quit at the first instance of something going wrong. Or you want to give up, or you don't want to put in the hours because it's too much work, but yet still you go to a 9 to 5 and you put in all that hour and all that work to build someone else's business. So I love that you said that.
Yeah, it's very important.
Mhm.
And another thing I noticed, that it might sound weird, but
Mhm.
when you own your own business and you're working for yourself,
Mhm.
you lose the track of days and maybe even the track of time. You don't know what day it is, because when you're working your 9 to 5 or 8 to 5 or 9 to 6,
You're
whatever,
counting down.
you are waiting for that Friday to hit, to get out of there
Yeah.
and enjoy. So that means you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. With my type of business, when you're on your own boss or you run your own business from scratch,
Mhm.
you don't even know what day it is. You don't even know if it's Saturday, Friday, Sunday. It doesn't matter. You don't know.
Yeah.
Very important, and that would happen to people when you run your own business. If that happens, I mean, some people can agree, some people can disagree. To me, I notice that happens to me a lot.
I know. I was talking to someone recently, and I was sharing that, hey, the joy that I have just editing the podcast, even though it's tedious and it takes a lot, just like the joy that I have doing this, and then coincide with the other job is like completely different. Different. And so many times I'm just like, oh, I wish I could do this like 100% full time. Because don't quit that 9 to 5. Don't do that.
Don't quit the 9 to 5 unless you're sure 100%. Don't get me wrong. I had doubts. I have many doubts. I'm like, man, what am I gonna do?
Exactly.
And remember I told you God would send you little things,
exactly.
And somebody shared with me a picture of 2 lions, and one of them was in a cage and the other one was free. And the message said, one of them the one in the cage has shelter, food, and medical care guaranteed, but the other one was free to go anywhere he wanted to go. So I think that's very important too as well. And yeah, don't quit your 9 to 5, guys. Nobody's saying that. Don't put your 2-week notice tomorrow just because you heard us.
Exactly. Don't do it.
Don't do it unless you're 100% sure you can do this, because it is a tough road. It's not easy.
What were some of the plans that you laid out for yourself when starting the business?
Well, I think for us, the first thing that we were focusing was quality. We wanted to focus on a good quality print or good quality job for our customers. Yeah. And like I said, I think customer service was big for us. We want to make sure that we stay on top and we provide the best options. And we're still working on our business, as we grow. We only been full-time for, I think this month will be a year since I quit my job, even though we started from the pandemic, but I was still kind of employed.
Yeah.
And we are always planning, and we're always thinking ahead, and we're always trying to find the best thing we can offer to our customers that nobody else is offering. Yes. Because we need to be on top of things. I think we're always thinking of what to do next. Yes. What can we offer next that your other screen printer is not doing? And that goes for every business. Yeah. That goes for every business. You always have to think, what's next? Yeah. What's next? What if?
Nice. What is your proudest moment in the business so far?
What is my
Your proudest moment in the business so far?
Oh man. Well, we have reached some goals. Yes. We set ourselves goals where we say, hey, we're gonna make this much on sales this month, and it's been incredible sometimes, because there's months where we say, hey, we're gonna make this much, and we go over our goal. Yeah. And it's like, man, we sold this much, but I'm not gonna get into details with the numbers.
Don't have to.
But we sold this much, and just my wife and I, just making sales. So imagine if we had a group of sales men that could
push it for you,
push it even harder. Yeah. I mean, the money you could make in any type of business is really up to you. Exactly. How hard you push your business. Nice. Those are some of the proudest moments where we reach our financial goals, our sales goals and all that, and we're trying to have more records. We set a record for this month. We'll see what happens. But I think the one of the proudest moments too I had, now that I remember, was when I quit my job. I sat my wife and my son, who's 6 years old, and I told them I quit my job, and we did a little, family time together, and he understood, and he was proud of me, and he said, I'm proud of you, Dad. And even though he was 6 years old, I think that I look back and I said, man, I'm doing this for my family, for my son. Exactly. And it has worked out so far.
Awesome. That is amazing. So we have the founder of Black Widow Studio Print, Jorge, talking with us. Before we go, share with us your social media sites, Instagram, Facebook, website, where we can find you. Give us all the details.
You guys can always find us at Black Widow Print Studio on Instagram, or you guys can just go to our website. It's the same name, www.blackwidowprintstudio.com. Yes. We don't engage too much on Facebook, but I think we use Instagram the most for our communication with customers. You guys can also give us a call. All of our stuff is on our Instagram page, and we try to get back to everybody. We're anybody who's requesting to make shirts or needs help to start a brand or anything like that, we help them out through the whole process. I think it's very important.
Yes. Thank you so much for stopping
by
for doing this.